And in '97, we created the IP design and reuse, and Philip was holding the website, and we look at all these catalogs, and we end up taking care of a niche, I would say, how to do proper IP management. And over a year, we got more and more experience about IP management. So I will try to explain how people have to go from Excel file to I send you a file, now it's the last revision, to very well integrated design IP management system. So first of all, like Mark said this morning, we have not client. We sell an enterprise management platform, but we have not client, we have partners. That means we work with people over years to improve their management. And we learned the lessons, so I say 7 lessons, because of my Chinese friend also. We learned how to manage IP with IP provider, IP consumer, design reuse manager, Fabless I.C vendor. And I think these people very spontaneously gave us very good ideas. So we had a very quick technology, and they gave us what to do. And at the end, I think it's a great story, as big as was my synthesis story. So first of all, when I speak about IP management, what I'm speaking about, okay? So if it is kernel, I look at an IP. An IP is a set of files, and when we are doing design over year, you think that the IP is that. What I'm speaking about is, first of all, a level. I call it IP XML metadata. All what you say you have to know about an IP. Then who has to know? So these are all our partners we had over time. So you have, first of all, the guy who are using external IP, okay? These people have an enterprise platform. They have supplier. They have to know about their IP supplier, what have they licensed, what is the agreement in place, and how can the designer use this IP. So this is that, okay? They speak about IP, but in the direction that they have to receive external IP and to propagate them in their corporation. Here, I begin by this segment because it was our first big clients. It was people who were using IP. Second one, you have somebody in a company looking for internal reuse. So they have to take an IP to package it. You have to package it. You put it in a repository, and others have to reuse it. So we were, what we learned is how to manage that, how to share this IP. So this was the internal reuse. And on the top, so there, you have the problem of the IP provider willing to sell IP. And finally, you have the fabless on top left. So what DNR had is very selective partner working with us over years, how to manage that in a proper way, very efficiently. Lesson 1, we learned that, my friends are in the FPGA partner with Alcatel-Lucent and Ericsson. They were user of external IP. And they wanted an internal IP catalog in their enterprise because their engineers were not invited to go on the website, to Google on IP, to look at design reuse. The company has a policy. If a designer wants to use an IP, first of all, they have to know which IP has been subcontracted to the company, and pre-selection has been made. And they don't want the designer to go, oh, I found something fantastic in this country. So they needed an internal IP catalog for pre-selected vendor. The first thing that we understood that DNR's website had a catalog listing. Now we have to export this data to Alcatel-Lucent and Ericsson, okay? So we learned about transporting this catalog we created to their intranet. So it's related to import. So the failure we understand very quickly. First of all, the catalog is not an Excel spreadsheet, okay? It's something that you can transport, modify over time. Number 2, forget about the format standardization. The VSIA, all the IP catalog analog must look like that, and all this stuff this is the VSIA stuff. This was a danger to avoid at any price, because when we took an IP and sent it over to Ericsson or Alcatel-Lucent, they wanted this format, the other one wanted this information. So no unique format, no spreadsheet. People want immediately a flexible formatting and import-export capability. We were the people who update them the information. So what we put in place very early, around 98 or between 98 and 2000, is the fact that these people have intranet, okay? DNR was receiving the data directly from Xilinx through Excel spreadsheet. We pumped them in. It became a so-called XML catalog, and we were updating the intranet of Alcatel-Lucent through the firewall. This was a demand very early that we fulfilled perfectly well. Same for Altera. They update every all the FPGA vendor. They update us through an Excel spreadsheet with all their IP and third-party IP. Our work consists of creating here gateways, we say, and updating these people that we put on a button here, export. They receive a mail. They say, yes, okay. The data comes in, and it's pumped in their intranet and refreshed. So this is the way we learned in between 1997 and 2000 with this big company, how to transport the data. So flexible formatting, import, export. Because, of course, Ericsson didn't want the same stuff than the other one. We had to add this. We have to add, of course, attribute like this has been negotiated, yes or no. So this is the lesson 1, and I think we still thank these people. They are in the FPGA panel to have learned the art to hold catalogs, to import, export catalogs. So what was the challenges that we understood very early? We come from the design world, as Mike said, over doing synthesis, of place and route. Finished, okay, no more C, no more C++, forget everything. You come from the design world, no scripting, okay? So we created the concept. First of all, we understood that we have to, this was a Java, we had to create a Java engine, of course. Java, in 2000, we say after 50 years of dormant stuff became the standard. And we realized that XML is the only technique people have to tag something. I send you a file, it's a revision 60, blah, 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 the attribute on top. So XML and Java was the point. So when we created the notion of catalog between 97 and 2000, you have a hierarchy, of course, but what you have at the leaf, I want to describe data sheet, I want the diagram, availability. The typing is extremely rich and enriched every day with our clients. So you can say, this is an image, okay? This is a data sheet and a link to a data sheet. This is a multi-value. This is a physical. This is the unit. So we had to support at the leaf of this description more and more typing. So if a client comes and wants a new type, we put it in. I want a raising edge. You want this and this. So a catalog, you see, you're very far from an Excel sheet. It was described by DTD in XML, but a set of evolving features. So what we, of course, you have search, selective access, all what you can have. And we created, you have an engine, you can build a catalog, you declare a catalog, and you can assign to a catalog a format, and you can change the format. You can say map to another format, extend this format, and so on. So flexibility, exchange was one of the first criteria. Of course, access right, help test, testimonial, this was glue around, that came rather easily. The lesson 2, but this was a big achievement because the FPGA vendor sent us the data and we sent them to companies. So the NR was in a stable business very quickly. Now, about cataloging, we learned a little bit more about the foundries. Take care. Why is the NR portal still alive? Because we fight and fight so that the designer tells us on each process node and which status. It's not a technology. You can't say TSMC point something. Have you been implemented in the design? Have you already, this IP has been used, yes or no? So we created, we say, when you declare an IP, it's good to say foundry geometry, but you have to say the maturity. And you have tried to standardize progressively this label. And also, we hate when people tell us, oh, yes, I've been on this, on this, on this. If they speak about process node, it's one IP on one process node, because it's not impossible that the guy has implemented in silicon in 6 processes. We know that's not true. So we have learned to display process nodes, standardize, and when people upload or update, they can only choose existing process or validated process. So we created a TSMC gateway storing all the IP of the world claiming to go to TSMC. But we say which process, which maturity, we go back to the guy, we don't believe you. It's a very tedious task to maintain the status of the IP provider in something a little bit true, because we have B2B. When a Chinese guy comes, we work with Mark, and he wants an IP on this process node, and the guy has not said the truth. This makes everybody lose time. So we learn to have catalogs on a real process node, cross-verified, and it takes time. So So this is an example. When Dolphin publishes something, they have to say pre-silicon, silicon validated, and it's cross-checked with the foundry itself. DNR is a partner of SMIC, a partner of TSMC, and we cross-check the declaration of the provider on process nodes. But you know, on the technology side, it's not so easy. You have to maintain your process library. You have to standardize them. Every node has to look the same, and you have to maintain that over time. So lesson 3 we learned. We learned with, thanks to Cisco system in the US, how to do internal reuse with no design intrusion. This was an experience that was quite interesting. So you need the first early years of the life of the NR. We had this external, this Alcatel-Lucent and Ericsson working on external IP. And suddenly Cisco jumped in. And for 6 years, we hold their internal reuse. So what are these people telling to us? We have created a central unique, and we have to make some blocks which are of strategic importance of all the company on a central server, and all of the world, the design have to know it and to download. It was the VHDL. So you imagine that the NR was not in the right position to say to Cisco, oh, take care, reuse strategy. It was like that. There was a committee, and when a block was mature enough, it was checked out from a designer database automatically, put on this server, and we have to open the dissemination in the design team of Cisco all over the world. So the catalog was no more a metadata XML viewer, but it had a link. When you click on the IP, you could see the directory of the file. So you have still this notion of XML viewer, but on top of real file. So what did we learn? Bridging to design environment. You don't touch the design environment, but when a version is declared to be valid, the person knows, of course, how it's stored in clear case, mainly clear case. He knows the tag, he extracts the tag, there is an alert going on the company. This version of this IP has been made available on this block. So this was working quickly and well. So it was an interesting experience that reuse could work as long as these people wanted absolutely the whole company to know what was the VHDL model of this IP, they could manage it perfectly well. The architecture was extended to a repository. And of course, you have a feature like submit IP, request IP, and also the download process and the approval. With them, we learned how to, in fact, it's a control flow. You want to download, you verify your rights, and then somebody outside is the approver, and he has to approve. So we learned a lot with these people. What we install at Cisco looks like that. You have this catalog stuff, okay? But these people were working on their design environment, and by a simple button, the manager could extract the version from a design. The version 3.1 revision 2 is proposed for reuse. He clicked on that. It was stored in the IP repository that was put into revision control by us. A second level revision control, of course, because if the designer goes away or I don't know. And then if all over the world a designer wanted to download, he could download from here. And there was a flow graph. It needs the approval of somebody, all automated. So the lessons that we learned was really great security, because you imagine this was the strategic IP for Cisco. So how to hide the repository on the server, you cannot know where it's located. How you do approval. How do you secure the transfer? So thanks to this next partner, the NR worked a lot. And now we can install an installation like that installed in less than an hour on any support. So, and it works. So we learned how to do it, how to package it, how to install it very promptly. Now we come back to external IP management. I told you that with Alcatel and Ericsson, we learned how to have internally a display, what's available. At the beginning, it was what has been licensed to Xilinx and so on, but progressively. Of course, people wanted to do more. When people have an installation, they have plenty of idea of extension, and that's good for us. So they wanted to know exactly what agreement is in place, what type of licenses. It is worldwide, locked license, and so on. And how to get it, of course. So for FPGA, it's easy to get the file. How do I get the key? Do I go individually to the Xilinx server? So here, in fact, you had to assist the management of the external IP very quickly. So in fact, from the front end that we put in place, I take the example of Alcatel. The guy can say, license request for this IP. It's indicated that this IP has been pre-negotiated. So we worked on a program with Xilinx and these people. In the big company, we do corporate, there is corporate agreement in place. It's called pre-purchased IP. So at the beginning of the year, Alcatel-Lucent and Xilinx negotiate a certain number of floating license in their company are locked, and it's carved in the tool. At the beginning of the year, we put the year with the negotiation, we put token in this tool, okay? So when a guy in Alcatel comes to its front end, he says, okay, I can have this immediately. So he goes, he clicks license request for this IP, which machine, and so on. And then the manager gets a mail. He goes to the license, the Xilinx key server, and he sends the license to the guy. So this is running for 4 years now. At Ericsson, there is a variation. They wanted a new order. Instead of saying in the company, I would like to order this IP, and yes, maybe I can go to the procurement. In the tool, it's written order new IP. You say which one, and it goes to the corporate management. So what do we learn technically? This was a great experience. You know, you have a catalog, but we created panels, you know. In this tool, it's written, create a management panel. It's also XML driven. I need automatically this automated field, okay, it's license request, the date and the guy. If I click, then I say in my format, I need the IP. So the IP name will be, when you click on IP name, you are automatically bridged to the catalog. Okay, I want the license. I was asking for a license on this IP. The license was floating, 2 tokens. Which machine? So you have a scroll of all machines of Alcatel-Lucent. And it's automatically back annotated in the catalog. So we have now a catalog, and we learned about licensing panel. You create them on the fly. I want to create a panel. It's a license request panel. So when you click on license request, this is automatically filled in, and the machine scrolls, and now we have the tool knows if for this guy you see this machine, it's automatically filled in, and this is a license request that has been made. What happened after that for the manager? The number of tokens is automatically decreased, and there's a second panel. You want the license request of this machine, and now you have a correlated panel. For Alcatel-Lucent can see on this machine, I have this type of license floating and this software license running, and they can click here, here. So the fantastic discovery that we made with them, that you have a catalog and you have IP-centric management panel. So license request, machine status, and what Alcatel-Lucent liked the most is now the manager goes, he click on a button, and he can see all the machine of the company. They have Swiss IP license, 2 IP license. And everywhere to negotiate the order with Xilinx, the guy looks and say, okay, we have not used this token, this machine, I don't know why they ask for, blah, blah, blah. So they negotiate now very quickly, and not only they have a catalog, but the tool has roles. The guy says external IP management, he sees the status of everything, every day, everything. So this was very good because from a catalog, we create on the fly in 5 minutes any panel, and we have created a type called bridge. So add an attribute, and we say, okay, this is bridged to the catalog. So the catalog makes a link, like you do with, we have corresponding database. So these fields are called bridge to catalog or bridge to another panel. So this is a bridge to the other panel. So I find this absolutely genius because our customer are genius. Next, I will speak about the provider, which is Dolphin here. You can see, you can discuss with them. They had a problem. They have a nice catalog, 15 products, a Smash, IP, a lot of catalogs, a lot of variation. Okay. So first of all, they wanted a catalog with a marketing session, a designer section, and so on with write on it. That's a piece of cake, not very difficult. But what they have is the what have I delivered? Okay, these people have parametric, they have analog stuff. So each IP have 12 or 15 or much more variation, which process node, what they've done with that, and one day I deliver. So it was a nightmare for them. We created 2 panels, but a panel is created on the fly by us. We said, okay, first of all, something simple. You create a panel, client names, the scroll all the name of their client. I am selling to, okay, to ship the wrong data. This is the client. I am speaking about this IP. So you scroll bridge to the catalog. The part number are following up. So these are all linked feeds. So I will speak later on about the client configuration. It's a TSMC, an IT, the delivery date. You can have multiple delivery. So this is something simple. The sales manager, enter the sales. The problem was this was the configuration. What have you really sold to this guy? Which revision, with which bugs, and so on. So we made a second panel on top called the shelf deliveries. I found this extremely good because I had more complex idea that they have. In fact, they invented the shelf delivery. You have an IP, and each time somebody delivers something, he writes here, I have a shelf delivery. It is this IP, the release one. This node is Foundry. But when you click here, you have all the information about the delivery. It was this version, this revision with this encountered issue. I even don't know if it's a personal database. What the problem I had, which library, and so on. So it's like a second level of cataloging. So we created a panel, we say, with a shelf delivery, which has this like a new catalog on top. So after that, it was good. When the guy wants to make a sale, he comes, I want to deliver this IP. He looks at the last delivery release. So maybe real data. So the shelf delivery, he sees the last R12. So either he can ship exactly this one, or of course he has to create a new one if there is a bug that has been corrected recently. So these people have a catalog, make a shelf delivery history, and have now a client delivery panel, which is absolutely fabulous. They know this version, with revision, which error encountered, and so on. And when you see their catalog, they have an IP, they see client, and they see deliveries in one click. And they see to whom it is being delivered, and what are the shelf deliveries. Say on the shelf, because you can always take it and deliver it. So in fact, they solve the problem of reporting on revision control, which really is. It's connected to the bug panel, and of course, by having connected panel, they solve all the management issue. But this was made, I would say, also on the fly by our tool. You have the catalog, create panel, you give the format to indicate the bridge, and it works. Fabless I.C Vendor, there was an announcement by Tabula. This is also extremely important for us because it's people designing in the cloud, and they want to use external IP. It's a company which does not want to work with standard cell, but with IP. So you have to have IP calls while you design. So you have IP available, and you can even ask for an IP. So with our technology, it works well. You have a catalog, but you have now a button. You click on license request, and there's a flexible formatting. Which kind of license do you wish? You have customized, if it's a parameter generator, the attribute of the generator is shows up, and you have normalized the entry of the generators. And then you have to generate the Tabula file, and you can download. So in fact, it was extremely interesting because we had catalogs, of course, and we have a licensing flow. A little bit what we learned also with the other ones. So at Tabula, it looks a little bit like that. This guy has logged in. He asked for this IP from this guy. Does he need a license? He wants a hardware eval license. Does he want, this is no eval means it's for free. You have not to pay for it, and so on. You have an auto eval license, no, so you're automatically enabled. Now the guy, he's enabled, he can I would say, play with the generator. But of course, we created on the top a second panel. When you click on what does he do, and here you have the tracking of the download. The guy has clicked for this IP, and he used the following parameter of the generator. So at the same time, the people track all the trial that the customer can do. So what you have to do is you have a catalog of IP. We have the type of license. We have a repository, of course. You have to examine which type of license are available in IP. Piece of cake, you put it in the catalog. And you have to follow up. If it's a free eval, the license is not useful. Then you let him play with the customization. It triggers the generator, and you have to track what he does. And at the end, okay, when he goes down, when he downloads the final version, it's out. So this is good for us because it's multi a multi-vendor catalog in their environment. Because one of these days they will offer internal IP and external IP, and you have to manipulate all of that. But with the technique of the panel and cross-checked with the catalog, with our cross-panel, we can't just do what people want. So this is fabulous because it's the first time we have really an IP design on the fly with external IP. I didn't think this will happen. Now it happens. That the people who have a panel, they can like instantiate in their flow IP from different origin. Of course, we do only the management. We don't verify if something is good or right. We are working on IP distribution management, but here the client didn't realize how good we are, so we wait. If a guy has something to distribute, okay, you make a central, you have a native provider, and you can derive IP for your different vendor. And we showed how you can follow up the final client delivery by doing mirror at the distributor site. I think it is absolutely a very good idea. You are a guy, you have distributor, okay. You have an IP, you say, okay, to vendor one, I give this one. But of course, you track. How do you send the file? I don't know. You can do all kind of encryption, whatever. So the guy received the IP. We can even transport it directly in his repository. So the distributor has this file. And now he has a panel when he goes on beta or to the customer. So you can follow all the way and track what happens, what are the status of the sales, and so on. So I think we can very well handle the distribution. What we are exploring, because each new story gives a new idea, we were looking at when you give out something, you can give it from the repository directly to his repository. And he can make the FTP online. The FTP he can download and send it to the final client using the platform. So some people want to track the activity of their distributor, for instance. And you have, of course, panel of reporting to your sales. So this is a new, this is a little bit different application, but extremely interesting. So the IP management platform, I think it's a mature platform for all facets of the IP management. And we believe that we are a niche, at this niche, which should be the standard of IP distribution, IP exchange, or IP whatever. Because this front end, it has taken us 15 years. It's been built with our client, very exhaustive, and works very well. There is a cross-fertilization, a cross-user application. We have no client, we have a part of that. It's a very good sentence. And every day, this platform is enriched. It's very modular. You can disable or enable features. So all features come in this common basket, are tested and maintained. It's an integrated environment, very good for IP providers, because you have not thousands of customers, few customers for elaborated objects that are evolving very quickly over time. So this tool is very well adapted for that. And I think it ensures quality and support of the platform, because the same platform, if you want, is used by Ericsson, by Dolphin, by Alcatel, by Cisco. So the more the platform is used, the more reliable is it. We have nearly no bugs, of course, and we install it in less than an hour. Thank you.